Hey everyone, this is Nazir with Project 2 for MDF II 1406. For this project, I just improved on my first one, which shows the list of the current users' posts, and can also post new tweets. And if I refresh, I'll get the new posts. And if I click on a post, I get the profile picture with the banner of that profile, the name, date, and actual tweet. Next, to go back. And to go to the follower, click on this button and it switches to the other site, which pulls down the followers information and lists them in the collection view. And again, if you click on it, it displays the details with the banner of that user, the profile picture, the name, number of followers, status counts, and then the description of that account. And then the last thing the app does, if you click on a profile, it takes you to the profile page, which again shows the picture, banner, name, followers, friends, and then the description of that account. And that is pretty much it for the app. Okay, so for the code, I refactored it a lot and I took out a lot of pieces and actually made it a lot better. So for the account, I separated that from the actual call and put it in a method that says view will appear. This way I can get the account before the view displays, and any calls that I have in the same class can just use this piece of code for the account instead of having to write this twice. So I did this and I put the refresh and view will appear, and then there's some code that does different stuff to the UI. This is for the circular image. You just display a square image, use this code, and it makes it a circle. And so for my buttons, I have 1, 2, 3. First one is to refresh, this one is to post, and for the third one I used segmented control. For the first one it was the timeline, the second one was the followers. This way switch views in the same page. And then the same pretty much code for the refresh Twitter method, although I was having some issues last week where it was taking a long time for the cells to populate, and sometimes they wouldn't populate unless I swipe up or down, and it turns out because this code runs in the background. So what I had to do is I added this code here, which kind of updates the main thread while it's pulling in information, so they display a lot faster. Now my application still runs a little slow, but it's because I'm pulling down a lot of information. I found a couple different methods to speed that up, so I'll be doing that next week. So yeah, just add this code here and then run your for loop to create the objects, and your cells will populate a lot faster if you run into that problem. I also added an alert view for an error, so that if there is any problems getting these requests, if there's no internet connection, then an error message would display. So the same thing over here, where if the account access was not granted, then this message would appear and it would actually give you like step-by-step directions on how to go back to the settings, Twitter, and then grant access to the application. The rest of the code is pretty basic. For these methods, I just pulled some more data just for testing. And for down here, some of the images I was pulling had a different format. So the images that came from the request had an extension before the end that said normal, which means the images are coming in small, and they weren't looking good when I put them in the application. It was fuzzy and pixelated, so I researched it, and Twitter does provide original images that come with a much better quality, and that's probably the reason my app's running slower, because I'm requesting these. But what I did is I pulled down the URL and I created this if-else kind of statement where it says if the last 4 characters of the URL was this, that means you know, take that URL, remove the normal, which is added, and then add the .png back so that I can get back the original picture instead of the smaller version of it. And so I did this for 3 different formats, which seems to work fine with my application. And that's pretty much it. The rest of these are simple, created the object, passed it to the cell and to the details view. That was pretty much it for me. See you guys next week.